Hey guys. Well, it's June 1st and I got some tarot here. I love doing tarot. I don't do it as much as I used to. My life has been so. I've been caught up in the day to day stuff, the material, the earthly stuff, and I'm not doing all that much spiritual or intuitive or personal. Uh, I'm kind of doing the survivor mode, like almost not quite fight or flight, adrenal fed. Some days are like that for sure, not every day, but it's been tough. So I'm not tapping into my intuition, and that's all this is. This is not like hocus pocus or, ooh, it's just tapping in to help you already read what you know, like what's already internal, your inner wisdom. This kind of can help bring it out. It's not it's not fortune telling. It's not scary. It's not mystical, really. It's just we all have intuition. Sometimes we don't pay attention. Even people who want to pay attention and have studied to pay attention and intend to pay attention, and I would put myself among those people. Sometimes our lives just get the better of us, so to speak, and we forget. We forget to breathe. We forget to just be. We forget to breathe, peaceful. Just whether it's like nurturing ourselves, whether it's reading a book or listening to music or just taking a breath, whatever that means for you. Ah, anyway, so here I am. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have not done a birthday spread. So if you are into tarot at all, or maybe more than at all, a good time to do like a year spread. There's two really good times, besides if something really important is going on in your life and you get a reading or you do a reading for yourself. Two really good times are at somewhere around the new year and somewhere around your birthday. So I did do a tarot card reading with a new deck, and I posted that a little while ago. And it was a really, really good reading, and I got a lot out of it at the time that I did it. And then not that long ago, I went back and I looked at my notes and stuff, and I was like, oh, what's going on for April and May and so on. And I was like, oh. So even though I was kind of in tune when I did the reading and things made sense, other things came up after that reading that I wasn't expecting, especially at the end of April. I got like bamboozled, walked over the head, whatever you want to say, with some really crazy life stuff that I just didn't expect from people I didn't expect, especially one person, whatever. Not whatever, it's important, but I'm not going to go into all the personal details to bore you or to, like, name names and all that. But I went back to my reading not that long ago and I was like, oh, okay, this is really good because it something that made a little bit of sense now made a lot of sense. And even in June and July, June made more sense after I looked at it again because since I did the reading in January, I have signed up for surgery, and it's June 12th. And one of the parts of the reading in June, the big thing in June is like rest and relaxation. Like, you got to take care of yourself. And a lot of times, the card that I got is more like an overworked card, which I can relate to that, like, in a lot of ways. But it's also like, hey, you got to slow down whether you want to or not. Your body, your situation, whatever, it's forcing you to. And I didn't think twice about it when I scheduled this surgery, but I'm going to be recuperating a good part of June, getting ready for the surgery, having the surgery, recuperating from the surgery. So the card that I drew back in January now makes perfect sense. And then in July, there's going to be a lot to do that whatever I haven't done since before the surgery, I have to get done in July or early August, and my July card read like it was like the Ace of Swords, like kind of like this resolution of serious problems and things are going to be so much better. And I was like, oh, that's great, that's great. And now that this deadline has happened that I didn't know about for July, I go back and I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So anyway, I'm just telling you, like sometimes someone who's really used to doing readings and studies the tarot and is interested, sometimes things will make sense but not all the way, and then things become clear later. So here we are, June 1st, and I thought maybe I'd draw a few cards for all of us. And if you're listening or watching this, perhaps one or all of the cards or something that will make sense to you. And if they don't, but you care to write this down, or something pulls to you to pay attention but you don't really know how, later on if you look at your notes or look back at this or whatever, you might be like, oh, got it, I got it, this makes sense, and I feel good, or I'm at peace, or whatever. It's life. And when I say whatever, I don't mean to discredit anything that I'm saying or anything that's happening in the world. It's just like I'm saying I don't have all the answers and I'm just trying. That's really it. Whatever doesn't mean whatever. It's just like I'm here, I'm doing my best, and I know I don't know all the answers. So, anyway, I have to do my birthday tarot card for the year spread, which I will do when I turn this video off, because it was May 17th and it's now June 1st, and it's good to do it around the month of your birthday. So I will be doing that, and that might just add to the January reading, or it might bring forth all new things that uh, I haven't considered, or my life has not brought forward yet, but it'll just be a little extra help or assistance or insight, etc. So, anyway, here we go. I'm just going to do 3 card reading, and it's for whoever is watching. Hopefully, it's for me too, but I'm just here open and we'll see. All right, so if this makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't make sense to you, but you're watching, then you're watching for a reason or not. But maybe along the way, something will make sense when you have a quiet moment or in a dream, or maybe in a couple of weeks or a month or two when things are not like feeling good to you. You might come back to this moment and be like, oh, okay, I got it. I'll get through this, whatever it is. So anyway, 3 cards for you, for me. Who knows? So I shuffled, and my intention, you just put the intention. People do tarot in all kinds of ways. I just shuffle with intention, and then I cut the deck once, just to cut it, like to say, okay, I'm done shuffling. Now we're getting down to business. That's it. I could go on and on about different methods, and people get all like serious, like, no, no, you always got to do it one. No, if you're putting your intention in and you're being present and you're open to a message, even if you don't get it, but you're open to like, oh, I might get it later, that's all you need. Okay, so I shuffled, I cut, and this first card is the Ten of Swords. And it's really a beautiful card. Tens are really like completion or satisfaction. And this looks kind of bad because you see a person on the ground and it looks like the swords are going into him. Really, what it's saying, it's, think of it a different way. The swords are lifting from this person. So the worst is over. Okay, so if you're going through a hard time and you're not really sure if it's going to get better or worse or how you're going to deal with it, just know that the worst has already happened, and maybe you're still feeling the repercussions or the trauma from all that has happened, and maybe still is happening, but not in such a terrible degree as it was. You're still feeling it. You're still like feeling other people's pain, your own, etc. Just know that the very worst has really happened. Things are lifting, and you have gotten through it. You have survived. This person is not dead. He's not blue. He's not bleeding out. But he's kind of stunned. He's kind of like done. Like, man, that was like a whop and a half. And things are lifting, okay? The skies are blue. They're not dark. The grass is green. It's not dried up, dead. So there's a lot of hope and upliftedness in this card, even though it's kind of like, ah! So that's the first card. So just kind of remember that if you can. And if it doesn't make sense to you, that's perfectly fine. So the second card, and sometimes when you draw 3 cards, it can be past, present, future, or me, myself, and I, you, me, us. You know, it can mean all kinds of things. All right, threes, the power of 3 can be very, very powerful. But I'm just drawing 3 cards, and you take what makes sense. Maybe they all make sense. Maybe this one does make sense for the past, or what will soon be the past. We're all just living folks. It's not like I'm trying to explain too much. Don't worry about it. Just be you, do your best, and use any tools, including your friends, love, whatever else comes your way, to help you. And if you grow in the process of surviving and getting stronger and realizing that life is pretty darn good, even with all the other stuff, that's good. That's good. Pass that along, because we need that. We all need that. All right, so my second card is the Hierophant, and this is one of 22 what they call major arcana cards. And when you draw this in a reading, it usually means it's a little more important than some of the cards that are not of this 22 major arcana. And the Hierophant is sometimes considered like a holy figure, and if you see, it does look like a holy figure. But the Hierophant in more modern translation, this is like the original tarot's decks. That was actually a lot of it was coming from the Bible and the historical Bible and the historical times. So people that say that it's of the devil or of pagans or this or that, no, a lot of the traditional historical background of the tarot comes from the or the Old Testament and the history of the times. So it's really not that far-fetched, even if you think it is. Anyway, the Hierophant, now we see it more as a spiritual being for sure, but also like a teaching card, like someone who is a teacher or a counselor, someone who others look up to help guide them in one way or another, or teach them a lesson. And it could be like a one-time thing, or it could be like a presence. So maybe you are here right now in this part of your life to be a teacher or a supporter or a guide for someone else. Or maybe your own life is teaching you something, and you need to look at it that way instead of mourning and stressing so much and just being like, wow, this is hard, but I'm going to be so much wiser and stronger and grow from this experience. So I'm just giving you a very quick, there's so much more to it, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit. And then the third card is the Seven of Swords. Now, 7 is often, swords are, problems, obstacles. Some of the problems are actually, mind-related, intellect-related, or just struggle in general. So this is like, if you can see, the person depicted a lot of times is you. The person is either someone you know or yourself. But there are swords, and most of them are being picked up, and he's kind of hunched over, like it almost feels like a defeat, but it's not defeat. It's kind of exhaustion. But when you think about it, this person is not like wailing his swords, and he's all over the place like, I want to fight, I want to fight. He's picking up his swords, his power, uh, his tools, his everything that he has. It doesn't mean not, it doesn't need to be like a weapon or power. It could just be all the tools of the trade, mind, body, spirit. And he's taking them, he's making stock, and maybe just not wanting to fight anymore. You know, there's a lot of power playing going on in the swords as well, whether it's physical or intellect, and there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of exhaustion, and there's a lot of health issues with these cards. And in this particular one, it's like I'm making a choice to gather up my strength, symbolically and otherwise, and I'm just not going to fight right now. I'm just going to gather up my strength, my tools, and I'm going to walk away and not continue fighting against a brick wall, so to speak. So if you feel like there's something in your life or someone in your life that you're just like, it feels like a constant struggle, maybe it's time to just stop. And you don't have to be a winner or a loser, but just stop. Gather yourself together. Gather your tools, your people, your whatever it is, your faith, your strength, and just pause before you get hurt either by yourself, acting too quickly before you have a chance to think, or before you act in anger or stress or some other emotion that is real but difficult, and sometimes it's hard to always make the right decision when we're in these kind of modes. So maybe it's time to just pause, keep yourself together, don't give up, but just take a moment to again remember that the worst is over and that you need to take care of yourself, and maybe it's time to go inside and consult your spiritual guides, whether that be you or something higher above than you, whether you believe in God or goddess or just the universe in general being a powerful, beautiful element that connects us all and gives us something that we might not be able to define. So there we go. We've got swords, and then a spiritual advisor, teacher, and then more swords. So yeah, maybe this is a time in life, maybe for all of us, where we feel a little overpowered, a little overwhelmed, a little exhausted, and it might be a time to go inward and also upward, not meaning heaven or, as opposed to hell, but just like seek help beyond yourself. You don't have to do it all, you don't have to figure it all out yourself, but seek your most spiritual, beautiful counsel, that inner person who knows so much more than you give it credit for. And also, don't be afraid to consult or seek help from your spiritual elements, and that might be a person, a teacher, someone you trust, someone whose advice or who has already been a mentor to you. So I hope that helps you in one way or another. And this was a almost what is it, 18 something minutes just for 3 cards, but I wanted, for those of you who don't know tarot at all, I wanted to give you a little explanation along the way. So peace to you no matter what. Okay, bye.